To be honest, when I rewatched the draw ceremony for the 2025 Southeast Asian U19 and U16 Blessing Cert held in Thailand, I had to pause the video several times, not to see which group Vietnam fell into, but because of a detail that truly shocked me. The slip bearing Vietnam's name was paired with a Chinese national. It might sound minor, but for Vietnamese people, this is not minor at all.
That's not just an image error,
It's undeniable that a national flag is not simply a piece of cloth or a ceremonial decoration. It is the most sacred symbol of the nation, an image for which millions have sacrificed and preserved. Vietnam's red flag with a yellow star symbolizes blood, tears, victory, and freedom. It accompanies the nation's history from the arduous resistance years to today, flying on every battlefield, grandstand, border, and island. Therefore, when a regional sports event, a gathering of Southeast Asian nations,
that's flag as China.
It is no longer a technical error. It is a serious lack of respect. Look back at the overall scene of this draw ceremony, organized by the ASEAN Football Federation in coordination with the Football Association of Thailand, publicly live-streamed on official channels, with media representatives, sports officials, team representatives, and audiences watching. Every detail from sound, lighting, to presentation slides was meticulously Yet, in the midst of that solemn ceremony, when it was Vietnam's, the screen showed the Chinese flag, not a blurry image, not a smudged graphic, but the clear, unmistakable Chinese. That image was also publicly shared on social media, making it visible to viewers everywhere. Now, ask yourself, for a regional event, how many people must have been involved in it? The design team, technical crew, supervisory board, and content reviewers couldn't be few. Yet, none of them noticed that the national flag was displayed incorrectly.
That's unbelievable. If no one truly noticed it, and if someone knew and still let it happen, it's an insult. Oh, they might have just made a mistake, Don.
But think about it. How could they mistake it?
That flag has one yellow star, while China.
If you confuse Laos and Cambodia or Myanmar and Vietnam, it might be understandable, as their flags are relatively similar in color. But mistaking Vietnam for China cannot equal unintentional, especially since this event was hosted by Thailand, a country with a professional sports organizations, and with their level of expertise, it can't be dismissed as an amateur error. So, this incident makes many people question whether behind this so-called technical mistake,
there's something deeper.
Right after that image appeared, Vietnamese social media nearly exploded, with tens of thousands of comments, shares, and protest posts spread.
Not just football fans, but any patriot who saw that scene felt insulted.
People are angry not because of sports, but because national pride was hurt. Some calmer individuals say they might not have done it intentionally, but a formal apology is necessary. That's right. Just an apology, a timely corrective action, could somewhat soothe the emotions of the Vietnamese. But unfortunately, even hours after the event, the host side remained silent. No apology, no explanation, no remedial action.
And that silence, inadvertently, only fueled greater anger.
Because silence in this case is no longer a delayed response but an attitude of disregard. Under pressure from public opinion, the Vietnam Football Federation immediately sent an official dispatch to both the AF and the Football Association of Thailand to protest and demand clarification of the cause as well as proposed. In the document, the Vietnam Football Federation emphasized that this is which could affect Vietnam's image and negatively impact the spirit of unity in the ASEAN community. At the same time, the Vietnam Football Federation requested the deterrent responsibility and ensure that similar mistakes never recur. This reaction is correct, timely, and necessary because in the international context, if we do not protect our symbols, no one will do it for us. In diplomacy or sports, silence is sometimes interpreted as agreement,
and in this case, silence means accepting the insult.
Therefore, VFS speaking out is not only to defend the honor of the national, but also to protect the pride of the entire nation. Now, to be honest, I am not one to speculate. But the more I think about it, the harder it is to see this mistake as You know, in a world of diplomacy, nothing is unintentional. Every detail, every symbol, every action carries its own. So, the question arises, why confuse it with the Chinese national flag?
And not any other country? Could this be a test to see Vietnam's reaction? Or worse, a deliberate setup? A way to send a hidden message.
Looking at the regional context, Vietnam is increasingly gaining a Meanwhile, China, although not part of Southeast Asia, has deep influence in many countries, especially in economics and media. Therefore, mistakenly associating the Chinese flag with Vietnam is enough to create ambiguity in public perception. The viewer glancing by might think, oh, Vietnam, does it have something to do with China? And just a few seconds of misunderstanding can distort the national image. It may sound minor, but in the media age, image is everything. One wrong detail, one piece of skewed information can create a false impression so a flag mixed up even for a few seconds cannot be taken lightly. For Vietnamese people, the national flag is not just an image of pride, it is
From soldiers at the border to workers abroad,
to athletes wearing a red flag with a yellow star to compete. All regard that flag as a source of spiritual strength. When victorious, they raise that flag high. When defeated, they bury their heads in it to cry. And when they see someone insulting or misrepresenting it, Vietnamese. Therefore, this incident is not just the organizer's mistake, but a wound touching the deepest emotions of the nation. No one can accept the Vietnamese national flag disappearing and being replaced by another country's flag, especially a country with which we have had many sensitive issues. Sadly, sports should be a place of unity, connecting nations through the spirit of fair play. But with such unprofessional organization, the ASEAN Cup draw ceremony has become a stain on regional relations. If the host country Thailand and ANF do not speak up soon, trust between federations will clearly be affected. Sports can bring joy but can also become a sophisticated political weapon if someone wants to exploit it.
And that is why we must be more vigilant than ever.
Nevertheless, amid this regrettable incident, there is one thing that makes me proud, which is how the Vietnamese people react without anyone calling for it, without direction. Millions of Vietnamese everywhere simultaneously defending their flag. It is a natural reflex, a national instinct. We may differ in region, views, religion, but when it comes to the red flag with a yellow star, everyone shares the same feeling of pride and readiness to defend. This incident, somehow, has stirred up a stronger national unity spirit than ever before.
To make a big deal out of it, that's an image that
because that image was spread everywhere, and every Vietnamese person who sees it understands that this can't. Now, of course, everyone hopes that AF the broadcaster will soon issue an official apology to conclude the incident. But this matter cannot just end with a mere apology. There needs to be a clear explanation, identification of who is responsible, and specific measures to prevent recurrence. Because if we let this slide, who knows next time they might mistake the national anthem and then even mistake it. Such mistakes not only offend honor, but also directly affect the country's image and prestige on the international stage. This incident of mistaking the Vietnamese national flag may have only appeared for a few, but it has left a significant resonance in the hearts of Vietnamese. Not only anger, but also a wake-up call. Never underestimate sacred symbols. For Vietnamese people, the red flag with a yellow star is pride, an indomitable spirit, something no one is allowed to offend.
That's an unintentional or intentional error, whether
because we may lose in a football match, but we must never lose in national self-esteem. And no matter who mistakes, changes, or deliberately attaches any other flag, in the heart of every Vietnamese person, there is only one flag, the red flag with a yellow star. Unique in it. Subscribe to the Arcane Atlas channel to watch the latest videos.
Like the journey? Subscribe and join the next expedition.